There is an idea that everything and everyone is connected by 6 degrees of separation. Because everyone has a friend of a friend, you can create these links to get from one person to a wildly different person. And I wanted to put that to the test today. With an industry as small as the theatre industry typically tends to be, I wanted to play musical theatre 6 degrees of separation, but I want to see how little the connections I can get. I want to make these chains as small as possible. I want literally one person. I want to make it that these just naturally connect immediately. So I opened up to you. I asked you on Instagram to provide 2 wildly different musicals, 2 wildly different actors, theatres, shows, characters. I open the floor to you. Give me 2 wildly different musical theatre themed things and I will have to connect them by 6 degrees separation. So I've gathered some of my favourites and let's play. But if you haven't seen my face before, hi, I'm Ellie. I talk about theatre. I am the most chaotic theatre person on the internet. I do reviews, I do discussions, I do versus brackets and rankings. And if any of that sounds interesting to you, please consider hitting like and subscribe. It really helps me, it helps out the channel. But let's dive in to musical theatre 6 degrees separation. So I'm going to try and do links first, just based on my general knowledge. And then if I'm kind of struggling, I'll use Google a little bit to help me out and pull me along my way. Or if I can get it by like a long chain, I want to see how short I can make that chain. So we're going to start with the first one, which is Newsies and Death Note. Newsies has had multiple lives. It's been on Broadway. We've got US tours. We've also got the UK version. Death Note? Now, that's going to be quite hard if I want to link it to other productions. Hold on a second. Hasn't Jeremy Jordan done both of these? Can't I just link these by Jeremy Jordan? Newsies, on Broadway, the original cast starred Jeremy Jordan. And Jeremy Jordan did the concept album for Death Note, the musical. Well, I mean, we started really easy. The first chain, Newsies, Jeremy Jordan, Death Note. And even if you don't want to count like the concept album, and even you want to go for like a specific production, then it's only one extra step because Newsies, Jeremy Jordan, Frances Miller McCann starred alongside Jeremy Jordan in the concert of Bonnie and Clyde, going into Death Note, which Frances Miller McCann also starred in the concert version of. So even if you don't want to count the concept album, you can count the concerts and you can get it in those steps. This is too easy. You can't start me with this one because otherwise my ego is too big and when we get into the actual hard ones, I'm going to really struggle. And it's going to be a huge fall from grace. But yeah, that was easy. I'm too good at this. Next up, Cynthia Erivo to 6. Okay. Cynthia Erivo obviously has had a very successful career. She's been in Sister Act, she's been in I Can't Sing, which was a huge flop, but we forget about that one, because she was incredible in it. Obviously, I could go from the Wicked movie, I could even go from like her career outside of musical theatre. I mean, before we even think about Wicked possibly getting Oscar nomination, she is already an Oscar-nominated actress. And she also starred in that awful Pinocchio film, oh god. But we want to link that to 6. I'm not as familiar with a lot of the cast outside the UK, so I might want to go with a more British side of Cynthia Erivo. I could go for someone like Jonathan Bailey. I could maybe go backwards from Jonathan Bailey, get to UK theatre, and kind of connect it from there. Surely Jonathan Bailey has worked with someone who's worked with a Queen from 6. Or even I could go Toby Marlowe. If I can get one of the cast members from Why Am I So Single, I could get back from that. Or Legally Blonde at the Regent's Park Open Air Theatre, which links back to Lucy Moss. So there's a lot of pathways I could take here. I think I'm going to start first with Jonathan Bailey. Let's start first with Jonathan Bailey and work from there. Obviously, Jonathan Bailey's done a lot of plays. Maybe Company as well. Jonathan Bailey did do Company. Obviously, that cast is like Richard Fleetzman in there. That was Patti LuPone. Rosalie Craig might be a good direction to go through. Or there's also the production he did at the Other Palace. Back when the Other Palace was called the St. James, he did a production of the last 5 years. Who was it? It was Samantha Barks, wasn't it? Samantha Barks was... I'm going to go with the assumption it is Sam Barks. Yeah, so he starred alongside Samantha Barks in Last 5 Years. So we could go Jonathan Bailey to Last 5 Years. If we did that, or like The Other Palace, we could go Other Palace, then hop over to anyone who starred at The Other Palace, which we could go to Be More Chill. Be More Chill, when it was at The Other Palace for a very short run before it sadly got cut off by COVID, Millie O'Connell was in that cast. You can go Millie O'Connell to the original cast of 6. So not only have I linked it to 6, I've linked it back to the original cast of 6. So you can go Cynthia Erivo, Jonathan Bailey, The Other Palace, Millie O'Connell, 6. Okay, that's a nice one. That's a nice one. Now, I am currently in the edit, but I thought of a better chain, and I like this one more, and I want to put it into the video. So, Cynthia Erivo guest judged on an episode of RuPaul's Drag Race on the panel alongside Michelle Visage. Michelle Visage played Miss Hedge in Everybody's Talking About Jamie in the West End, alongside Leighton Williams, who you can currently find in the West End in Titanic, alongside Lauren Drew, who starred as Aragon on the 6 UK tour. I like that one more. It's more succinct, and I use a lot more shows. There you go. I like that one more. We're going with that one as the official one. Let's go. Okay, next up, Fiddler on the Roof to Kinky Boots. Guys, are we really going to have another Jeremy Jordan moment immediately for Harvey Fierstein? Harvey Fierstein. Fiddler on the Roof. Harvey Fierstein starred in Fiddler on the Roof. Who wrote the book to Kinky Boots? Harvey Fierstein. Guys, I said give me a challenge. Come on. It's more fun if I have to do the chains like I did with Cynthia Erivo. Come on. Next up, because that one was way too easy, we have Carrie Hope Fletcher to Lin-Manuel Miranda. Obviously, Miranda went to see Heathers, but I don't think that's enough. I don't think just seeing the show is enough. Otherwise, I could link these like that. I mean, I could use Andrew Lloyd Webber. Obviously, Carrie Hope Fletcher worked with Andrew Lloyd Webber on Bad Cinderella. And if we go Andrew Lloyd Webber, he worked with Lin-Manuel Miranda. They did something at the Queen's Jubilee, if I remember correctly. I think it was back in 2022. So I could go Carrie Hope Fletcher, Bad Cinderella, Andrew Lloyd Webber, Lin-Manuel Miranda. I mean, that's a pretty good link. Immediately, I don't think there's going to be a link that's stronger than that, because I feel like we're always going to have to bounce between two people. Carrie Hope Fletcher's never starred in a show written by Miranda, so I don't think I get it in one. I think the connection of the Queen's Jubilee performance that Miranda and Webber did together is going to be the best connection. So yeah, Carrie Hope Fletcher, Bad Cinderella, Andrew Lloyd Webber, Lin-Manuel Miranda. Okay, next up, this is one of my favorite ones. Pokemon Live. The live show of Pokemon to Harold Pinter, the famous playwright. Now, this sounds wild, and if you don't know Pokemon Live, it's a fever dream. But do you know who starred in that fever dream? Andrew Rannells. And Andrew Rannells is our ticket to get anywhere, because Andrew Rannells has a career that I'm well enough aware of that I can bounce from there. So if I go Pokemon Live to Andrew Rannells, I can go anywhere. I could try Josh Gad, because obviously they starred together in not only Book of Mormon, but also Gutenberg now. But I want to get to Harold Pinter plays. And I don't know many Harold Pinter plays very well. The Harold Pinter play I know the best is actually Betrayal, which starred Tom Hiddleston. So if I could get from Josh Gad, who is a big enough celebrity that surely there is a link between Josh Gad, a middle link, and Tom Hiddleston, that I can get to the Harold Pinter. What's really annoying is that there was actually a cancelled project that Josh Gad and Tom Hiddleston were working on together. It was a cancelled DreamWorks film, but I don't think that's big enough of a connection. If I could get from, I mean, obviously Tom Hiddleston has done a lot of Marvel films. He's done Loki. I don't think Josh Gad has ever done anything for Marvel though, so I can't link by that. But maybe I could link through Frozen. Obviously, Olaf in Frozen is one of Josh Gad's biggest roles. Could do Beauty and the Beast. If I could get from that actor to another actor. Maybe Luke Evans? Has Luke Evans and Tom Hiddleston ever starred in anything together? Oh my god, they have. Okay, so I can do it by this. Pokemon Live, which starred Andrew Rannells. Andrew Rannells starred in the Book of Mormon with Josh Gad. Josh Gad starred in the Beauty and the Beast film alongside Luke Evans. Luke Evans starred in High Rise with Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston did a production of Harold Pinter's Betrayal, directed by Jamie Lloyd, at the Harold Pinter Theatre. I feel like that's enough of a link. Okay, I wonder if there's a better link. Obviously, I could do that cancelled DreamWorks film, but I don't feel like that's enough. I feel like it needs to be something tangible that actually did happen. I'll go with that for now. Is that a little bit more than 6 links? I don't know, but I feel like that's the best I'm going to get for now. Unless I can find a project that Andrew Rannells and Tom Hiddleston worked on together, but I don't think they have. They absolutely have not. Okay, next up, we have Kevin T, who is a character in the musical Come From Away, based on a real person as well, so I could go for the real person Kevin T, to Marisha Wallace. I mean, I think the easiest way to connect these two would be Guys and Dolls. Because if I go Kevin T, Come From Away, currently in the cast of, well, not currently, it's just closed, but in the final cast of Guys and Dolls at the Bridge, we had Jonathan Andrew Hume, who was in the original cast of Come From Away in the West End, and obviously Guys and Dolls would then link to Marisha Wallace. So, I mean, that would technically count, even though they weren't in the same cast together. Kevin T, Come From Away, Jonathan Andrew Hume, to Guys and Dolls, at the Bridge to Marisha Wallace. And even if you're going to come for me and go, hey, they weren't in the same cast, because there were cast members who bridged the gap between that cast change. So if I went with someone like George Ianandes, whose name I'm absolutely mispronouncing here, who played Sky towards the end of the first cast run and to the end of the show, then I can link directly to Marisha Wallace with a specific cast member she starred alongside as well. There you go, bada bing, bada boom. Okay, this one. Lea Michele to Heathers. Oh, I love this one. Okay, well, obviously, Heathers has had a good run in America as well as over in the UK. We could go with anyone in the UK, but I don't think it's going to link massively back to Lea Michele, because you'd want a Glee star. I mean, Amber Riley starred in Dreamgirls over here, so I could go with someone who starred alongside Amber Riley in Dreamgirls. Surely there's someone who's done that. But then again, that happened a very similar time to Heathers. Obviously, Marisha Wallace did Dreamgirls. She was the understudy for Amber Riley in Dreamgirls. We could use that connection maybe to get to somewhere else. Obviously, we've just done Marisha Wallace, but Cabaret, which she's going to star in soon. Obviously, Guys and Dolls. Waitress she did, so it could link back to someone like Lucy Jones. Oh, that's what I can do. I could do this. So Lea Michele to Amber Riley. Amber Riley starred in Dreamgirls with Marisha Wallace as her understudy. Marisha Wallace starred in Waitress in the West End alongside Lucy Jones, and Lucy Jones did a workshop production of 13 Going on 30 alongside Jamie Moscato, who was the original West End JD in Heathers. I'm happy with the link I've got so far. It's a little bit more than 6, and I'm sure there's a way that I can make it better. We could go for American cast. Has Lea Michele ever starred with anyone who did the workshop in America? If we want to continue the theme of JDs, we could go with Jeremy Jordan as well. We go with Ryan McCartan. Barrett Wilbert Weed. You could go Mean Girls through that. Annalie Ashford. Obviously, Annalie Ashford was the original Veronica Sawyer. Maybe I could link back to that. There's a lot we could connect back to Annalie Ashford. Obviously, she was in Legally Blonde. She was in Kinky Boots. She did Sweeney Todd alongside Josh Groban. Did Josh Groban ever star on Glee? Surely Josh Groban did a Glee cameo. Josh Groban absolutely did a Glee cameo. Oh, we can get it even neater. Okay, we can get it even neater. He guest starred as himself on the first season of Glee. So, in that case, we could go Lea Michele, Glee, Josh Groban, Annalie Ashford, Heathers, which is a shorter connection. Okay, I like that one. I like that one a lot. There you go, you got 2. You got a US one and a UK one. There you go, you happy? Alright, next up, Rodgers and Hammerstein and Oliver. Ooh, okay. I mean, Oliver has had a very, very extensive run. I mean, I'm sure I could connect this by just any actor who's done both. I mean, obviously we could have Cinderella, we could have Oklahoma, we could even have musicals that Rodgers or Hammerstein did on their own, like something like Pal Joey. Wait, didn't Patti LuPone do Pal Joey? I can't say that for definite, so I'll come back to that. But Patti LuPone definitely did Oliver. Patti LuPone did a revival of Oliver where she was Nancy, right? Back on Broadway. Patti LuPone, Rodgers and Hammerstein. I can't believe I remembered this. Pal Joey, 1995, at the New York City Center, Encores, Pal Joey, starring Patti LuPone. I don't think it's cheating that we're only using one of them, so we can go Rodgers and Hammerstein. Richard Rodgers wrote the music and lyrics for Pal Joey in a 1995 production. Patti LuPone starred in that musical, and Patti LuPone also starred in a revival of Oliver. There you go, you can link it by Patti LuPone. Okay, I'm happy with that one. Let's go to the next one, Suffs and Frozen. I mean, I could link back to The Devil Wears Prada. obviously Shayna Taub wrote both Suffs and The Devil Wears Prada, so I could then open it up to anyone who is currently in The Devil Wears Prada in the West End. That would probably be easier for me to do without looking anything up. I think my best bet right now is to go to Devil Wears Prada, because I feel like that's what I'm going to know. So if I go Suffs, Shayna Taub, Devil Wears Prada. Georgie Buckland just came off of the Shrek tour, but I don't think anyone there links massively back to Frozen. That might be a dead end. I mean, it's probably not a dead end. I could probably find a really long way around it to get back to that. Anyone else? Oh, wait! I actually have a good connection. Hold on. Jen Coella. Because Jen Coella was in If Then. Jen Coella, If Then, could link back to Frozen because of Idina Menzel. She did the Broadway production, which I don't think ever had a cast change. I may be completely wrong with that. So that would likely be that she started alongside Idina Menzel. So I could do Suffs, Jen Coella, Idina Menzel, Frozen. I did it, everyone. But was anyone in Suffs actually in Frozen? I have to answer this question for myself now, because that would be even less of a link. Chessa Metz. A swing in Suffs also starred as Elsa in Frozen in the middle of the ocean. It might not be Broadway, it might not be the film, but it's Frozen nonetheless, and I will take it. You can link Suffs and Frozen by one person, and that is Chessa Metz. Thank you, Chessa Metz. I love you so much. Thank you, Chessa Metz. Okay, next up. I'm really glad to have this one after the havoc I just spent with Frozen and Suffs, because I can tell you right now, I can do this with like no steps. We have The Other Palace to Jamie Lloyd, the theatre in London to the theatre director. Now, I think a lot of people forget that Jamie Lloyd was a very established director before Sunset Boulevard. Like, he's got a very extensive career. And like, if you've not been in the theatre scene for too long, I can't really blame you for that. Like, Sunset Boulevard kind of made him a much bigger name and made people a lot more aware of him. But Jamie Lloyd has directed a show at the Other Palace. Do you know what it is? Does anyone know what the show is? Can you tell me? Back when the Other Palace was called the St. James Theatre, Jamie Lloyd directed a production of the musical Urinetown there, which then went on to transfer to the Apollo Theatre in the West End. So, I mean, that's technically one step. Technically, you can go Urinetown, but I mean, it was all at the same theatre with the same director that I wouldn't even say that's a step away. I'd say that's just naturally combined. Or even if you want to make it harder and go for a different production that Jamie Lloyd has directed, then we could literally just go to The Other Palace, which used to be owned by Andrew Lloyd Webber, to Sunset Boulevard, Evita, which Jamie Lloyd has directed. This one was too easy, I'm so sorry. Next, Bonnie and Clyde to the Phoenix Theatre. So we're going to have to look through cast members of Bonnie and Clyde to see if we can get a link to the Phoenix Theatre. Obviously, currently home to Stranger Things, previously home to Come From Away. There's a lot of different musicals that have been there. Once was there. Chicago's been there. But I don't want to link to a show. I want a performer that's actually been specifically at this venue. So we could maybe go for someone like Alice Fern. Alice Fern has done a lot of theatre, currently starring in the Dear Evan Hansen tour, but I don't think there's any Bonnie and Clyde alums in that tour. If we go the other way, we could go, obviously Frances Minna McCann. We go Natalie McQueen. Natalie McQueen did 9 to 5 as well, but that was at the Savoy. I don't know if anyone in 9 to 5 would link very well. David Hunter did Once at the Phoenix. Or we want to link by other Beverly Basses from Come From Away. We could also go for Rachel Tucker. Rachel Tucker's had a very, very successful career. I'm sure would link back to Bonnie and Clyde in some way. Or Trevor Dion Nicholas. Okay, that's a good link. That's the specific link I can give you right now with a show that they're both currently starring in the West End. Because you could go Bonnie and Clyde, Trevor Dion Nicholas, to Hadestown, where he's currently starring as Hades alongside Rachel Tucker, who previously starred in Come From Away at the Phoenix Theatre. There you go, that's a nice link. Yeah, I like that link. I'll go with that link because I like that one a lot because it's immediately linking those two in a show that they're still in together right now. That's really cool. All right, next up we have Hello Dolly to Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York. A big flashy Broadway show, which has had multiple West End revivals, to a smaller scale West End show. I think I might work backwards from this one. I feel like that might be easier because we have a lot less people to work with two strangers. We have Sam Tutty and Do You Want a Gift? Obviously, Sam Tutty links massively back to Dear Evan Hansen. Wait, I have a perfect link for this one, and this is going to link back to some shows you are not expecting to see. Because if I go Hello Dolly, I could not go for any production you're thinking of right now. And I can go to the one that's currently or just closed in France, because that stars Chrissy Beamer as Minnie Cooper. Chrissy Beamer and Sam Tutty worked together on a production of Once on This Island. I think it was the National Youth Music Theatre who did that production at the Southwark Playhouse. And obviously Sam Tutty then went on to star in Dear Evan Hansen and Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York. I like that as a connection. Oh yeah, let's go. Okay, next up, I don't know how I'm going to do this one. The Caucasian Chalk Circle to Spies Are Forever. The Tin Can Brothers show to a Brechtian play. Oh god. Wait. No, this should be really easy actually. Because didn't Carrie Hope Fletcher do a production of the Caucasian Chalk Circle? If I can go from that to the UK concert version, Carrie Hope Fletcher surely has worked with like a bunch of people in that concert version. Oh my god, I've got it. Oh my god, I've got it. Hold on. Guys, I think I've cooked. The Caucasian Chalk Circle. There was a production that starred Carrie Hope Fletcher. I think it was in 2022. Carrie Hope Fletcher did the Addams Family tour alongside Oliver Ormston, who was in the Spies Are Forever concert. You thought you had me with that one. Oh, I'm too good for you. I'm too good. Next up, My Sons Are Queer to Guys and Dolls. Okay, now obviously on the basis of this, it looks like we could probably only go with Rob Madge, but actually we could go with the composer, Pippa Cleary. We could go with the director, Luke Shepherd. Luke Shepherd might be the way to go here, because Luke Shepherd has done a lot of work. He's done Starlight Express, he's done Just One Day, he's done And Juliet, Little Big Things. So that's already a good selection of shows to jump from My Sons Are Queer. Let me think about this a little bit. And Juliet, I could go with a lot of cast members there. I don't know if any one of them have done Guys and Dolls, and I feel like once I look at Google, I could probably get this a little bit neater, because surely one of them has done Guys and Dolls, like surely. Thinking about who was in Guys and Dolls at the Bridge, because that's the production I know the most. Actually, we could link these really quickly, if I remember correctly, because didn't Gina Beck do But I'm a Cheerleader? I saw Gina Beck in But I'm a Cheerleader, and she was the final Sarah Brown in Guys and Dolls. So if we link that by the theatre, we could go My Sons Are Queer to the Turbine Theatre, to But I'm a Cheerleader, to Gina Beck, who starred in that show, to Guys and Dolls. That's a good link. Okay, my final two that I've picked out for this video, these two are extremely difficult. I don't know how I'm going to do these two, but I'm going to try my best. The first one is the icon, the legend, Jodie Garland, and I somehow had to link Jodie Garland to the Millet Sonning, which I don't know how I'm going to do that. Okay, so obviously Jodie Garland was a huge star, Wizard of Oz. We could obviously link back to her daughter as well, Liza Minnelli, but I don't think I'm going to be able to link back to anything that's been at the Millet Sonning, or even any actors who've been at the Millet Sonning, because that's so difficult. I could instead try and link more so to the Hollywood route, because Millet Sonning actually exists on George Clooney's private island. So I could work backwards from this and go Millet Sonning to George Clooney. But the thing is, I don't know enough about George Clooney's career to link him back to Jodie Garland. So I think the best way to do this is maybe to go to her daughter. If I go to Liza, at least she was acting at a similar time to George Clooney, that I may be able to pull something to get them to link. I can't believe he was in Spy Kids. Are you kidding? He was in Spy Kids? I do not remember this. I kind of want to link Liza Minnelli to Spy Kids now. Okay, this is a stretch because they never actually starred in this together. But Jodie Garland, to her daughter Liza Minnelli, to Cabaret. When Cabaret was revived, Alan Cumming did Cabaret as the MC. Do you know what Alan Cumming starred in? Spy Kids. And in that film, George Clooney also stars. He has a cameo. And George Clooney has a private island where the mill at Sonning is based. Is there a way to get to them quicker? Probably. Am I going to try and find it? Absolutely not. I just find it too funny that I've linked them using Spy Kids. Now, I spent so long after filming this video trying to find a better link between Judy Garland and the mill at Sonning. I've come up with this as an alternative route, and I want to see what you guys think of it. I don't know if it's great, but we're gonna do it together and see what you think. So, Judy Garland, obviously one of her most famous acting roles was in The Wizard of Oz. Another adaptation of The Wizard of Oz is The Wiz. When that was adapted to the screen, it had a screenplay by Joel Schumacher. Joel Schumacher directed Batman and Robin, starring George Clooney. George Clooney's private island features the mill at Sonning. It's a better link. It's stronger. I think these links, like the weakest link in this is between Wizard of Oz going straight into The Wiz, because obviously very different adaptations of the same source material, but I think it's better than what I did with the previous one, but it's less funny because it doesn't feature Spy Kids in it. And the final challenge, if you thought that wasn't hard enough, I have been given the Theatre by the Lake to Finding Nemo the Musical. Why these two are very fitting, very water-themed. I don't know how the hell I'm going to get to that. Theatre by the Lake is a cool theatre that I've never actually been able to visit, but if I can find a way to link these, even if it's like very, very like stretched links, then I'm going to try and find it. So, the thing about this is, the way I'm going to have to do this is I'm going to have to use the writers. That's the only thing I can use. Actors, I'm going to be absolutely useless. But if I can use Robert Lopez, if I can find any connection to Avenue Q, Book of Mormon, Frozen, then I can use the writers of the Finding Nemo musical to get back to Finding Nemo. That's the only way I think I can be able to do this. The problem is, I don't know much about the season at the Theatre by the Lake. It's a theatre I really want to visit, but do I know much about it? Absolutely not. Which musicals has the Theatre by the Lake done? They're getting a production of Jungle Book. Wait, Joe Stilgo. I could maybe get from Stilgo to somewhere. Joe Stilgo has written the music for this version of the Jungle Book. He's the son of Richard Stilgo, who worked a lot with Andrew Lloyd Webber. Okay, I think this might be our link. If we go Theatre by the Lake to Jungle Book, to Joe Stilgo, to Richard Stilgo, to Andrew Lloyd Webber, to Andrew Lloyd Webber's theatre, the Theatre Roy Drury Lane, where Frozen played, written by Robert Lopez, who also wrote the music to the Finding Nemo musical. Now, on further reflection, I wasn't very happy about linking this just by the theatre that Andrew Lloyd Webber owns. Like, I felt like that was a little bit too weak of a link for something that's going to go a little bit further than 6 steps. So, I've got a slightly different one for you. We're going to start the same way. Theatre by the Lake, Jungle Book by Joe Stilgo to his dad, Richard Stilgo, but I'm going to be specific in which Richard Stilgo show I go to. I'm going to go to Phantom of the Opera, which he worked on the lyrics of. Now, currently, if you go and see Phantom of the Opera in the West End, you'll catch Joe Griffiths-Brown as Raoul. The funny thing about Joe Griffiths-Brown is that he was in Frozen in the West End. He was a part of the ensemble. And now we found our way to Frozen. You know that I'm going to link Christian Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez, who wrote the music and lyrics to Frozen, to Finding Nemo, the musical. I feel like this works a little bit better. It's a little bit neater. I'm using more knowledge of the shows a bit more rather than just, you know, who owns a theatre. I'm more happy with that one. Does it still break the rules? Because I feel like I'm squashing it in a way that it's kind of under 6 steps, but I still think it just so slightly over. But I feel like that's a good way to get from one to the other. There's probably a better way, but I'm tired. So, what do you think? I want you to play along too. Take any of the ones I've spoken about in this video. Can you find a shorter connection from one to the other than I did in this video? Can you do one better than me? Leave all your thoughts on this chaotic video in the comments down below, and if you want to see another video like this, let me know. We can make this into a wonderfully chaotic series. If you did enjoy this video, please consider hitting like and subscribe. It really helps me, it helps out the channel. Here's some links to some other videos on screen right now, and the link to my Instagram if you'd like to drop me a follow over there. I also have other social links and a merch store in the description down below. But that's it for me today, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.